how Obama can try and save his legacy. Besides winning re-election, presidents are often concerned about of course, their legacy. And Obama will be remembered, if things stay the same, as one of the worst presidents, if not the worst president in American history, and certainly the worst of our current generation, even including Jimmy Carter. The economy is being destroyed. He's a laughingstock among the nations of the world. Nobody, even the Arabs that he's tried to coddle, respect him. He's driving not only our economy, but the world economy into the ground. And so as you think about his legacy, you've got to think he's going to be remembered as the worst ever. Is there any way he can save it? Well, his economic plans are so awful that the economy is not going to turn around until he's gone. But there is one way that he can possibly save his legacy. Former Prime Minister of Israel, Olmert, said that he will be remembered, that Obama will be remembered with one issue down the road historically. Did Iran get a nuclear bomb under his watch or not? Now, Golda Meir, it was just released this week, evidently begged the Allies in World War II to bomb Auschwitz. They refused. 6 million Jews died. Israel took it into its own hands in 1981 to bomb the Iraqi nuclear reactor, albeit there was only one, and the world at first was angry and then was very grateful. And then Israel bombed the Syrian nuclear reactor a few years ago, and the world didn't say anything. The WikiLeaks reported that the Saudis are begging the United States to stop Iran. Now, what is the method of the United States? Sanctions. I just went to a very important lobbying group, pro-Israel lobbying group meeting, all-day briefing, and even though they articulated that Iran is the #1 issue on the agenda, the only thing they proposed were more sanctions. And that's a complete joke. I mean, they actually want us to think that sanctions are going to stop. And then they brought in some huge Iran expert who also talked about how sanctions theoretically could work. Well, I cornered him privately afterwards and said, I'm not asking you if sanctions could work. Given the reality of the timetable of Iran's working on this and the ineffectiveness of prior sanctions and how slow the president has been and how slow Congress has been, do you think there's any chance in the world that sanctions actually will, not could, but will stop Iran's nuclear program? He said, no way. And then we concluded with a very famous Israeli TV news journalist, one of the senior ones, who said that Israel is not going to allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. In fact, they're practicing all the time. The problem is when you read strategic reports, it's a very long distance. Iran learned from the Iraqi experience and put their nuclear program on the far eastern side of Iran. They spread it out over 35 different areas. They buried it a mile underground. Israel has no big bombers. They have these fighter bombers. They have to fly a very long distance. They'd have to be refueled twice on the way there and back to get there safely and back safely. They can only get one run, if at all. They have to evade the highly sophisticated Soviet anti-aircraft weapons. So realistically, the only chance this is going to get done is the USA. Now, this journalist did say that if Obama needs the votes next fall, he may do it if he thinks there's hard evidence that they actually have nuclear weapons. But it's got to be more than that. The people of the world have got to be pressuring Obama and the U.S. to do this. Omert's right. Obama will be remembered 20, 30, 40 years for one issue. Did Iran get a nuclear bomb under his watch or not? He's got to stop it. He's the commander-in-chief. Only America has the B-2s and the big bombers for a sustained bombing campaign, which will take months because of these 35 sites a mile underground and hardened. But if we don't stop it, and I know there'll be big costs to doing this. Now you have to try and stop civilian deaths as best you can, give them big warnings. Hopefully there won't be a ground invasion, so we'll spare U.S. troops as much as possible. I know we're talking about real lives, but if we don't do this, and Iran, of course, is going to retaliate. There'll be missiles flying at Israel. They'll try to sink ships in the straits to stop oil. It'll be terrible. Terrorism all over. But if we don't do it, we're looking at ballistic missiles with nuclear weapons aimed at Europe, Israel, and the United States in a few years. Europe right now. We're looking at dirty bombs being smuggled across our porous borders in cargo all through the United States. We're looking at millions dead. Remember Golda Meir begging the Allies to bomb Auschwitz, and they didn't, and 6 million died. Are you willing to take the chance? if we just stop Iran. Now, the prevailing idea in Washington is containing Iran. These are maniacs. You can't contain Iran. Contain Iran? These are the sponsors of worldwide terrorism. How can you contain Iran? And so, Obama, if you want to have any kind of legacy which is valuable and enduring, you can't be the one who allows Iran to get a nuclear bomb on your watch. Shalom.